Welcome back to the Mentally Fit Athlete. Uh, I'm Dr. Jason von Stietz, a licensed psychologist. I specialize in mental health and sports psychology. And here with me, as always, is my colleague and co host, Lydia Garcia. Lydia.
Everyone. I'm Lydia Garcia. I'm a clinical social worker, specialize in sports psychology with adolescents.
All right. Yeah. Today we're gonna try to be serious.
We'll
Look,
try.
yeah, a little behind the scenes, peek behind the scenes. We're joking, laughing, we're joking around right before this, but we're putting on our serious therapist hats now, and we're gonna get serious. So today we're talking about purpose. So if you're an adult, if you're an amateur athlete, a recreational athlete, you probably have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of different roles that you're playing in your life, and yeah, and it's going to be challenging to to have a consistent training regimen or a consistent fitness routine. Whether you're training for a marathon or having fun playing pickleball and trying to get back in shape, it could be difficult. Uh, yeah, Lydia. I mean, uh, I'm sure you work with a lot of adult athletes, and
I
and
do.
you have your Pasadena Run Club. What
I
have you noticed as far as adults and the different uh, roles and responsibilities and challenges that they face when they're trying to get healthy?
Yeah, I think, we have that very typical trope of the new year being that moment when everybody wants to get in shape suddenly. As far as goes with like run clubs, we've seen them just completely blow up since 2020, right? So everyone is getting involved and to they're wanting to run these races, or they're wanting to participate in the sport, to be social with each other, and then that leads to, again, wanting to do a race. But maybe there's lots of competing things that come inside of it. Maybe that person is also in grad school. Maybe that person has a full-time job. Maybe they have a family at home. Maybe um, maybe there's, something else, other hobbies or other things that are going on. And with a sport like running, it requires a lot of time, a lot of consistency, and a lot of dedication. Um, so, really understanding what the purpose of the thing is can be really helpful in maintaining the motivation, and helping a person to stay on track.
Yeah, yeah. And when I talk to athletes, and even in my own personal experience, whether it's sport or just anything else that I'm working on, that I'm passionate about, that isn't paying the bills, it can be really difficult to make time for it, and it can be really common. It can be really easy to have a love hate relationship with whatever that thing is, where you one day you love it and you want to spend all your time doing it and you have big dreams and big aspirations, and then the next second you're tired, you hate it, you never want to do it again. And that's something that I hear among high school athletes. I hear among adults. I hear from athletes of all levels, whether they're a recreational athlete or an elite athlete training for, some kind of world championship or something. So that's really common. That's really common. Is that something that you see in your run club, or that you see just in your experience with a community of adult athletes?
Absolutely. I mean, it's even something. Sorry, this is my little dog
It is.
who's really needing something like a lap. He really needs
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see that in the run community. I've even felt that in myself, in my own, in the way that my running has shifted, and priorities have kind of shifted across a life course. You know, um, it can go from being the most important thing in your life to a little bit less, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, just not quite as forefront as it once was. Inside of the run club, I see people who might not have a full understanding of the how or the why, behind what they're doing and their participation in the sport, or how they want it to grow. And in my work in office with people like that, we talk about like what got them started in the first place. Where are their values? What are their core values? And when you ask someone that, a lot of times they don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, hey, what are your core values? And they're like, huh?
Hmm.
Um, they usually, yeah. So I'll take people through an exercise of, well, let's just kind of look at this big list of a bunch of values. Let's kind of define some of them, and then let's talk about like what's really important in your life.
Hmm.
And as we whittle those things down, I like to get them down to a list of 5 core values. We're able to sort of understand a little bit more um, what a person's why is. What's your motivation? How can we use those values um, to support to support the endeavor that they're looking for, whether it's training for a race or something else in their life.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, it's very important to know your why. In to use athlete terminology, you have to know what your why is, because sports are very demanding, and uh, fitness, health. That can be very it can be very demanding to work full time job and have responsibilities at home, whether whatever that might be, taking care of kids or um, whatever role you might have. It can be very, very time consuming. So then to know why you're going to wake up early to exercise, or exercise during your lunch break or after a long day of work, or whenever it is that you can fit it in, you need to have a really strong uh, reason why you're putting yourself through this. And
Mhm.
usually the benefits are worth it. It's a short term sacrifice, waking up, 30 minutes early, an hour early, or uh, giving up your lunch break where you can sit in an air conditioned building and chat with friends, versus making it to the gym and spending 30 minutes on a treadmill, or whatever it is. It's, there's going to be sacrifices in the short term, but then in the long term, you get to um, be healthy and be more present during the day, be more productive at work, have the energy to spend more time with friends and family, or maybe be healthy enough to manage diabetes and or whatever ongoing health issue, and see your grandchildren high school graduate from high school, or whatever it is. So it's usually going to be worth it, but it's going to take that sacrifice in the short term. So it's really important to know why you're doing it. Um, yeah, and then what do you? Does anything stand out to you from the athletes that you've worked with in your run club, or anywhere else, where it's like, oh yeah, that was really good motivation, or why for them, or anything like that?
Yeah, I think some things that have stood out are, I think the long term sort of like sort of touched on that, like the long term um, external sort of goals that they would have. Sorry, not external validation.
Mm.
We're talking about sort of
Intrinsic,
like
or
those intrinsic, yes, some of the more intrinsic things that they might achieve through it. That things that can't really be seen or felt by others, but things that they can feel themselves.
yeah.
So you're talking a little bit about that long term, like what's being set up. Maybe right now you're 25 years old and or 22 or something, and you can have a late night of drinking and then turn around and run 12 miles the next morning.
Right.
Well, kid, that doesn't last.
No, 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 that's
So,
forever. Yeah.
things change in your body, and things change in your ability as you age. And um, sometimes the things that you see on the outside aren't necessarily, the same story isn't always on the inside. So we might see somebody who looks extremely fit, or who looks extremely fit, but maybe on the inside something else is going on, whether that's a physical health thing or even a mental health thing. We don't know if that person is struggling on the inside. So sometimes balancing that inside of the therapy space with an athlete
Yeah,
is a delicate dance, right? They
yeah.
might tell you that they want one thing because it means so much, but what's really going on is something else.
Right, right, absolutely, yeah. And then I'll just disclose a little bit about my own personal motivation. Uh, yeah, I'm sure my doctor would love it if I would exercise for health, uh, but I've just never been able to get motivated for that. But yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, uh, lowering blood pressure, all that stuff is great, but it doesn't um, it doesn't get me out of the house and doing an intense workout just so. I mean, not just so, but so I could be healthier. But for me, if I can find something that's fun that I enjoy doing, and maybe I start making friends there and be part of a community, well, um, now I'm motivated to do it, and now I'm going to be consistent. And then now, if it's fun, if there's a little bit of competitiveness in it, a little bit of healthy competition, well, now I want to learn how to be better at it, and yeah, maybe even put a little bit more time into it than I would otherwise, and maybe have some fun having a friendly competition with some friends. Uh, so so it's
Totally.
really important for people to find something that works for them in the moment, that's rewarding in the short term, that will keep them going in the long term.
Yeah. Something that my coach has always liked to have for me is there on the schedule having a goal. So having an A race that I'm really really working toward, and a couple B races, B or C
Yeah,
races that are helping me to get there. But having something to work forward to on the schedule, and set a goal for, um, supports that motivation. So you have a big prize that you're looking for at the end of 6 months of training or
hmm,
something. That might sound really
yeah,
overwhelming, right? Maybe it's 3 months, but you've got something that's there at the end. And building community is so important to achieving that, because let's say it's in my case, it's running, and it's the way that I set it up for myself. I have access and, I guess, some privilege to be able to go race in Spain at the end of April, and I do
ooh,
that every
nice,
year. I go
yeah,
and I take a vacation. I need a little break from work, and I like to be
yeah,
in a different time zone where no one can bug me.
yeah.
So, um, I get to go, I get to work for this thing for the whole year. And then once I'm there, I race, and it's a celebration for me. I've worked really hard for it. And then I get to be on vacation. And so that's a big motivator, a big incentive for me to put in that work.
Yeah.
But there could be something equal in a more local way. You don't have to fly across the country to do something like that. I'm
Yeah.
building. I mean, you could. It's fun. I take some friends with me because community is really important, and those friends that are going to be going with me are also often my running partners on easy days. So they'll meet with me. I'm meeting with some of them tomorrow to do
Oh,
an
yeah.
easy run. I meet with them every Wednesday at the Pasadena Run Club, and we share some miles together. And um, having that community behind you is another thing that keeps you on track and keeps you motivated. Um, and then having the supports outside of that. I mentioned my coach. I mentioned how he helps me with goal setting and how he helps me with building that program. Um, Finding the people in your community who can help you, who can be resources, who can guide you. Um, Sometimes we don't have we don't have our own coach, but if you went out to talk with some people at the run club and you said, "Hey, who coaches you?" I guarantee that a good coach will still consult with you and answer your
Yeah.
questions, even if you're not fully hiring them. They'll lead you in the right direction to get the resources that you need to build out a program for yourself. A Other things that are part of that too are, maybe the support systems that you have at home. If you're a working professional, um, but your partner can help you with making dinner or something like that, then maybe that's off your plate. You can go running after work, and you don't have to worry about coming home to make dinner because your partner did it. That's amazing. And maybe you don't have a partner, maybe you're a single person, but there's a solution. Maybe it's your Trader Joe's
Yeah.
cashier who is chatting with you about the ingredients that you picked up, right?
Yeah.
They inevitably will tell me the latest frozen food thing that I need to buy. The latest
Yeah.
flavor that's there, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a great snack that I can have before a run, or to hold me
Yeah.
over between work and working out. So there are support people inside of your communities, and identifying them, connecting with them is a great way of maintaining that why, getting you to your why.
Yeah, yeah. And when I was a broke athlete competing in weightlifting, and I would have to cut weight and all that, I, I would just have tons and tons of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Was it the healthiest? Was I maybe missing out a little bit on some of the stuff I needed? Yeah, okay. It wasn't the best, but it was what I could afford, and it gave me the energy I needed to train and to compete. And I talked to other athletes who might have some of them were in similar situations and doing similar things. And you have your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and you have your potatoes that you bake and then eat after your workout, so you can have some carbs afterward. And there's ways that you can manage. And now I enjoy cooking. As an adult, I've picked up cooking and started, tinkering with different ways to make carne asada and things like that. And I'm
I'm coming
seeing,
over.
yeah, the, I've found, wouldn't you know it? There's more and more YouTube channels lately where people are um, sharing uh, very affordable recipes. So,
Mhm.
I mean, times are tough, and resources are out there. Information is out there.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about as an athlete, or just
As a person.
as a person. Yeah,
Yeah,
taking care of
and
your health.
the more questions that you ask about things like that, and the more comfortable that a person can get with um, looking for those resources or asking those resources from the community, that can help reduce a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety, and help a person feel like they are more capable
Yeah,
of they are more capable just in their life in general, right? Because if you can get comfortable with asking a question about, hey, how do I make this and this thing from your neighbor? Or hey, can I borrow some some of this stuff from you? Whatever, you know. If you're comfortable doing that with your neighbor, you're probably going to grow in confidence to be able to ask your boss for a raise eventually, things
sure.
like that. Where, while it doesn't seem like they might be connected in the beginning, at the end, they sort of will be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Every challenge that you face builds your resiliency. It helps you to learn and to grow as a person. Um, One of the things that I found just important or helpful to keep in mind, our physical activity level is it can be difficult to change. I saw this random YouTube video from some scientist. If I can find it again, I'll post it in the show notes. But he was saying that just us existing, just us being alive, takes up a lot of energy. It takes up a lot of calories. And if you look and a lot of times people think, oh, well, in nature, animals are very active. Well, in reality, their activity level is actually pretty low. And the physical activity level of a chimpanzee is actually lower than the average physical activity level of a human. And what that means is, uh, if you're going to start a workout routine, you have to enjoy it. It has to be something that you really enjoy. Otherwise, you're just never going to do it, because just already existing, just being alive and your body doing whatever it needs to do to survive takes up a lot of your energy. And if you hate running, if you hate swimming, and you heard running or swimming is the best workout, you're just never ever going to do it. So it needs to be something that you feel excited about and you want to do, and it's just a part of your lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's
And just kind of like, and just sort of as people are, they're going to look up this creator, maybe this scientist. And I just want to sort of give the little disclaimer of make sure that whoever you're listening to on social media is a credible resource to listen to, right? We want it's better for you. Please do your research, right? And listen and find information from credible sources too. Um, Random content creator might be incentivized to tell you one thing about some supplement
no,
that isn't quite as,
no,
never. But
no.
we want to make sure that you're getting information from quality sources too. So again, like kind of uh, making sure that something is research backed, or talking within your community to people who are real professionals in their field, having in-person conversations with some of those registered dietitians, and maybe someone who specializes in sports nutrition, especially like Jason is saying, we already burn so much energy just existing. So once you're adding exercise to it, yes, there's that little spike in endorphins and you feel kind of awesome because you completed that whole thing, but then you're exhausted and you can't figure out why. And then you can't sustain it. And then you get pissed off at yourself. And then you
Yeah.
feel, oh my God, I'm a bad person, or I will never
Mhm.
be able to do this, or
Right.
all these negative thoughts and beliefs, start to pile on, when really you just needed to make sure that you had a protein shake after, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And then probably get to the root of like, why are you talking so bad to yourself? Like, where did that
Sure.
come from? Right? How can we readjust some of that language? Um, but maybe pieces of that could have been mitigated by making sure that you're consulting with a sports dietitian who can help you to make sure that the energy that you're expending is also returned to your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
That's the
Yeah.
spiral, sorry. From experience. Was like, why am I writing all these things and not getting better, or like feeling really, okay, duh, you should eat. Like you got to eat a hell of a lot more than you're eating, Lydia.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have gone over that with people, with different people. Why do I feel so terrible? I feel like I'm getting stupider. I feel miserable all the time. I feel, all that stuff. And like, oh, you know, have you been eating? Have you been sleeping? And the usual first response is, oh, yeah, of course. But then as we go into it more and more, it's like, oh, okay, there's this new regimen they're trying, and they're cutting calories by this drastic amount. And they're, waking up early to like probably too early to work out, or they're staying up too late, drinking energy drinks and doing whatever else, and then now they're going to work out, and it's like, oh yeah, it turns out that people need sleep and they need food in their body.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that does, yeah, yeah.
It
When
goes a
you're,
long it goes a long way. When people are fueled and they've slept,
yeah,
it makes the other kind of work, like the work that they would do in the office with us, um, a little more manageable, right, for them.
yeah, that's right. All right, that seems like a good note to end on. Lydia, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me online at lydiagarcia.net or on socials at liddy.g.
Awesome. Sounds good. You can find me at my website, drjasonvonsteets.com. Instagram, I'm at CBT SoCal. Hey, if anybody's on Blue Sky, go ahead and follow me on Blue Sky. Let's try to make that a thing. Um, but other than
It's
that,
gonna be
and
a
then
thing. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
yeah, check out my other podcast, Movie House Sports Psychology. Uh, yeah, like, subscribe, tell your friends,
Yeah,
tell your parents, all that stuff.
I'm gonna go
Uh,
get a snack.
okay, all right, sounds good.
I'll
Let's
see you next
see ya.
time.